Welcome back to WhatIfVerse, the channel where imagination meets science, and the laws of reality are just the starting point. Today, we're asking one of the biggest what-ifs in the universe. What if gravity suddenly doubled? Not slowly over time, not gradually like a scientific experiment, but instantly. 1 second, everything feels normal, and the next, the invisible force that keeps our feet on the ground pulls twice as hard. What would happen to us, to Earth, and to life itself? Let's begin with the first second after it happens. You're sitting on your couch, scrolling through your phone, maybe holding a cup of coffee, and suddenly, it feels like the world just got heavier. The mug slips out of your hand and shatters on the floor. Your arms feel like they've turned to lead. Your chest tightens. You try to stand up, but your knees buckle. You collapse, confused and gasping for air. Every movement feels like you're being pushed down by an invisible hand. You haven't gained weight, but the planet's pull has doubled, and your body isn't built for it. The average person would immediately feel the strain. Your muscles would scream under the new pressure. Your bones, designed for 1G, are now carrying double the load. Even your heart would have to work harder to pump blood upward against gravity's pull. Your lungs would struggle to expand fully. Standing up would be like lifting another version of yourself on your shoulders. Within minutes, exhaustion would set in. Most people wouldn't even be able to move. The simple act of breathing would feel like a workout. Now multiply that across 8 billion people. Hospitals would be overwhelmed. People fainting in the streets, collapsing in offices, cars crashing, planes falling. Within minutes, the world would descend into chaos. Gravity, something we never even think about, would suddenly become the greatest threat humanity has ever faced. But let's zoom out, because it's not just people that would suffer, everything on Earth would. Buildings, bridges, and towers were all designed with a specific gravitational load in mind. Double that, and the math stops working. Steel beams bend, concrete cracks, supports snap. The tallest structures on Earth would crumble almost instantly. The Burj Khalifa would groan, sway, and then collapse like a dying giant. Bridges would snap in half. Skyscrapers would fall into clouds of dust. Cities would become fields of debris within hours. And out in nature, things wouldn't look much better. Trees would split under their own weight. Their roots would tear from the soil as gravity drags them down. Mountains might crumble. Landslides would sweep through valleys. Even the ground beneath our feet would feel different, compressed, denser, heavier. The very shape of the planet would start to change, because when gravity increases, the whole Earth feels it. Its crust, mantle, and core would all compress slightly, generating massive internal pressure. Earthquakes would ripple across every continent. Volcanoes could awaken from dormancy. The planet would groan like a living being under strain. And then there's the ocean. You might think water wouldn't care about gravity, but it does a lot. Double the gravity, and every droplet feels twice as heavy. The ocean would flatten slightly, pushing down with incredible force. Waves would behave differently. They'd lose height, but gain power. Tides, driven by the moon's gravitational pull, would become far more extreme, because now Earth's gravity would be tugging back with double the strength. Coastlines would flood. Low-lying cities like Venice, Bangkok, and New Orleans would disappear underwater within hours. And speaking of the moon, it would also feel the change. Doubling Earth's gravity means the moon would be pulled closer. Its orbit would decay rapidly, and first, it would just look slightly bigger in the night sky, but soon the effect would become catastrophic. The tidal forces between Earth and the moon would skyrocket. Within days, the moon could cross the Roche limit, the point where Earth's gravity literally tears it apart. Our gentle lunar companion would shatter, spreading debris into orbit. Earth would gain a ring system, glowing eerily in the sky. Beautiful, yes, but a symbol of destruction. Meanwhile, the sky would feel heavier too. Gravity affects everything, even air. Doubling it means the atmosphere compresses. The air near the ground becomes thicker and denser while higher layers thin out. Breathing becomes harder, especially in high-altitude regions. Airplanes wouldn't be able to fly. They're designed to operate within specific lift-to-weight ratios. Birds would fall from the sky, their wings no longer strong enough to lift their bodies. The silence that follows would be haunting, No hum of planes, no chirping, no soaring sound of wings. Just gravity pressing everything down. Within a few hours, the entire human infrastructure would collapse. Satellites orbiting Earth would spiral downward, pulled by the stronger gravity. The International Space Station, gone within a day, burning up in the atmosphere. GPS, communication systems, weather satellites, all gone. Humanity would be cut off, blind to what's happening around the world. The internet would fail. Power grids, already strained by collapsing buildings, would flicker out. Darkness would spread across the continents. The world, for the first time in centuries, would fall silent. But let's think longer term, say, weeks or months after gravity doubled. Could we adapt? Maybe, but it would be brutal. Humans might build reinforced shelters underground where structures can resist pressure more easily. Cities could move into natural caves or mountain hollows. Machines would need total redesign, stronger engines, reinforced materials, and new technologies just to move things around. Cars, planes, even bicycles would need to evolve to survive under 2Gs. And the people who survived those first chaotic weeks, they'd start to change. Not immediately, but evolution would begin to favor certain traits. Shorter, stockier individuals would have an advantage. Stronger bones, denser muscles, thicker hearts, those would be the traits that pass on. Over many generations, humanity could become more compact, more resilient, like a version of ourselves built for a high-gravity world. Standing tall might become rare. Running could disappear altogether. We'd crawl, climb, or move slowly, our bodies molded by the new force pulling us down. Animals would follow the same path. The tallest species, like giraffes or elephants, might go extinct quickly. Their bodies simply can't sustain double gravity. Smaller creatures would thrive. Insects, rodents, and reptiles might dominate. Birds would become flightless. The animal kingdom would reshape itself around gravity's new rules. Nature would reinvent itself, and life, as always, would adapt. And what about weather? That's a whole new kind of chaos. With heavier air, storms would become more violent. Rain would fall faster, hitting the ground like tiny bullets. Winds would move slower, but with more mass, meaning more destructive power. Lightning might become more frequent as the atmosphere becomes denser and more turbulent. Rivers would carve deeper channels, mountains would erode faster, and deserts might expand as soil struggles to hold under its own weight. The face of the planet would change. New coastlines, new climates, new landscapes. Even time itself would subtly shift. A denser Earth might rotate slower, stretching days slightly. Maybe a few minutes longer, but enough to throw off our sense of rhythm. The magnetic field, generated by Earth's core, might weaken or fluctuate, exposing us to higher radiation levels from space. The auroras would dance brighter in the sky, a rare beauty in an otherwise dark new world. And yet, humanity might find a way. We always do. Scientists might work around the clock to understand what caused it. Maybe a sudden fluctuation in dark matter, a cosmic event, or a shift in the planet's mass distribution. If they could somehow reverse it, they would. But if not, civilization would have to start over on a planet that feels alien yet familiar. Cities would be rebuilt smaller, closer to the ground. Transportation might rely on magnetic systems that don't depend on wheels or lift. Life would move slower, quieter, heavier. We'd learn to measure time differently, not in seconds or minutes, but in effort. Every movement, every breath would be a reminder of how fragile our existence really is. Because gravity isn't just a force, it's balance. Too much and everything collapses. Too little and everything drifts away. Somewhere in between is the perfect tension that allows life and consciousness to exist. Doubling gravity would show us how deeply we depend on that delicate equilibrium. It would remind us that even the invisible forces of nature hold immense power, the kind of power that can destroy or create entire worlds. So, what do you think? If gravity suddenly doubled, would humanity find a way to adapt? Or would our world crumble under its own weight? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the WhatIfVerse, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because every day we explore a new question that challenges the limits of what we think is possible. In the WhatIfVerse, Every what if is just the beginning.